Welcome to Femme House Radio with your host, LP Giobbi. This week is dedicated to one of my favorite tracks on my new album, Daughter, called 2 Days Older, written by my dear friend, Madelyn Rue. She is an Amarillo, Texas native living in Austin, is a multifaceted artist, blending her talents as a singer-songwriter, musician, and designer. I met her when I moved to Austin 2020 because, as luck would have it, she was my neighbor. We bonded quickly over shared musical influences. She would come over and dance from afar to my Twitch streams during the pandemic, and she has been on this wild ride with me ever since. Last year, she played this song for me she had written, and the second I heard it, I was blown away. The song, 2 Days Older, can stand on its own with just guitar and voice, her guitar and her voice. So I kept the production minimal, bringing in some strings, a Juno synth, and a mandolin. So thank you, Madelyn, for writing such a stunning song, and welcome to Femme House Radio.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here. Such an honor.
I mean, this album so much is about honoring the women of my past and present, and so it means so much to me that you are on this. Tell us what 2 Days Older is about.
Yeah, thank you. 2 Days Older is about one of my oldest friends who was 2 days older than me. We knew each other from kindergarten all the way through to the end of his life. He was a musician and a frontman and just had this like larger than life personality, and he was just amazing to know, and his music was incredible. And in 2022, the city of Austin in April named the day after his band. So there's like a whole city day that they celebrate his music. And then unfortunately 3 days later he passed away, and our whole community was just so shook by this. And then, we were 29 when he passed. And then when I turned 30 the next year, I just had this like feeling about how every year, because he's 2 days older than me, we would always have this little like joke in this moment about how we were getting older together and stuff, and about how he was always going to be older than me. And I was like, oh, this is so weird turning older than him without him being here, and like these themes of grief just kind of like washed over me. And that was how this song sort of came to be. And then got the cool opportunity to play it for you. And I was so surprised by how much it struck with you. But it also has been, it's kind of like hit a lot of people the same way. It's been really fun to just to see people really connect with it in a beautiful way. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing with me. It's so wild because when you did share it with me, I had no idea that my album would turn into a project that was so much about grief in some ways, and honoring the people that we've loved and celebrating them, and turning that grief into something that can withstand the test of time, and hopefully bring people some sort of comfort in their own grief, and also some joy. And like, I feel like whenever I listen to Carolyn, the song I wrote for my piano teacher who passed, I feel this overwhelming amount of gratitude and joy while I'm in deep grief listening to it, because I feel like those emotions are so close. Like, I wouldn't be so sad if I didn't love her so much. And so like, I feel so tapped into that love as I'm so tapped into the sadness. And it's so crazy that I was so drawn to the song before I even knew where this album was going. And I'm just so grateful that it could be on this project, because it really ties all together for me.
Yeah, I think it's hard. It's the thing that we all have to go through, is to figure out how to deal with the people that we lose and that we love. It's
crazy that's
the
a
curse
normal
of
part
being
of life.
alive. Yeah,
yes. Like,
if
all goes well, we get to outlive our parents, which is something I still can't even process. Like, if all goes well, like, that's just part of and I wish that I had better tools, or we culturally had better tools, because it's wild. That's part of life.
Yeah, right. And that there are no resources really for it. It's just like, figure it out, and deal with it in a way that hopefully is constructive,
Yeah, totally. And a lot of times it's hard to find that.
It's hard to find that. But art there's no better place to put those feelings than art and music. And so I think that was I can remember like talking to you about this song, and I was like, LP, this song is like, I don't know, is this a song that goes on this album? And you're like, we have shock.
Actually, perfectly.
You're like, this was really, really fitting in. I was like, whoa, okay. I had no idea.
Just a dance artist, and here I put out the most emotional album. I'm like, whoa, where'd that come from? So the
Yeah.
song was recorded on a very special guitar. Tell
Yeah,
us about
yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, so at an auction my brother-in-law won this guitar and he gifted it to me and it's a Gibson, it's a 1987 WRC. There's only a few of them in the world, but also this one specifically was Bob Weir's guitar. And so I know that was actually what inspired, I think that was how I ended up playing the song for you in the first place. I was like, dude, I got this guitar. I have to show it to you.
Like I had Bob
I was
Weir's
like,
guitar, and I was like,
we
"Get
have
out
to
of here! Like
choose about this guitar.
I have to run over to your house right now and see this." And then you pulled it out. You're like, "Oh, look
Yeah,
how cool it is!" And then you started playing the song, and I was just like, "What is happening right now? Like,
that's how it
does this
happened.
guitar give you
Yeah.
magical powers? Because this is insane."
It was really special, and it was also so cool that like you and I had bonded so much over our love for the dead, and we went to that show together, and like it was just this like, so of course you're like I was like, LP has to see this thing immediately. She has to see this guitar right now. And then
I
of
could
course, and
not
then
believe it.
we played this song, and then like we also had that really sweet moment where I was like, I played that song for you, and I was kind of like, well, I don't know, I was like sort of, I'm kind of like messing around with this, but it feels sort of sing-songy, and I can't really like make it work. And you were like, people love sing-songing. That's what they sing to. And you're like, just lean into it.
You know, it gave me like rip. Like, I mean, I ended up putting mandolin on it because it felt as
Yeah.
uplifting. I mean, I know the content of it, but it felt as uplifting and joyous as Ripple to me, which is one of my favorite Dead songs. And
Yeah.
that just, I mean, to me, I obviously didn't get to know this person, but they like the energy that you're pushing through your song about him just feels really special and full of joy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's totally the vibe I want. Is like there's all the love that like he embodied and shared in his music. It was just like I felt like his passing was just his way of being like, uh, you have to make art, you have to share yourself with the world. And so, yeah,
I'm
it's an
so
honor to
glad
get to
you
do
are.
this. Yeah, totally.
So you are also a designer and
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
done some
yeah.
very cool work for Femme and for my personal music project for LP
Yeah.
Giobbi, which I love. Are there
Yeah.
any crossovers you see in visual design and in songwriting?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so I get to do a lot of visual web graphic design. It's so much fun. I love getting to do merch and stuff, and I love getting to do the really silly stuff that we've done for t-shirts and stickers and things like that. I think what's so like the obvious thorough, fare through between these two things is creation. So it once you accept yourself as a creative, you start seeing how many different areas of your life you can be creative in. And for me, like songwriting is incredibly visual in the same way that like when I create something for a client in a visual space, we're going from words and we're creating an image or something. And in this space, the tools are very limited. We only have so many, instruments, notes, and keys, and things like that we have to, make something beautiful with. And I think even the things that inspire me on both of those mediums are really similar. I'll have like moments where, maybe it's someone else's work or it can be, a moment, an emotion, a mood, a thing that I read, years ago that comes back to you somehow. And it's like all those things can inspire you to write a song. And I think working in visual art is very, very, very similar. So there's a lot of overlaps.
I
Yeah,
love that. On my
I know.
time off, air quote time off,
Uh-huh.
I love to try to collage because to me
Oh,
like
yeah.
that's sort of how I make music is like I pull from different things that inspire me, and so that's why I like collaging. And I mean, I know it's very different than design, but that's for me the through line and how I relate to visual art. And so
Yeah.
I'm always interested to hear how visual artists feel about it as somebody who is not at
Yeah.
all a visual artist.
I mean, I think that you are a bit, there's like there is a lot of that collage element in music and music making. It is a lot of collaging, bits and things overlapping and making them sound a certain way. And that's really cool because that seems like a pretty obvious tie over. So how fun. I want to see your collage collections.
I'll
Are you
show you
collecting
once I go.
magazines and books?
Yes. I have like one
Yeah.
on my piano. So
Yes.
you are such a special human, and I cannot believe my
Oh,
luck that I moved in next door to you when I moved to Austin. I mean, honestly, the little guardian angel is watching over me. You have taught me
me
so
too.
much on how to live a full life. Is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners?
Um, I just have to say so much. I feel so much the same way. Like it was just I felt like I had totally had an angel looking out for me getting to move into this house and be next to you and be near you and get to our friendship grow and watch you stream from the church on Sundays and do your worship. Those were the days, dude. But yeah, I guess, I don't know. I'm a big fan of like taking things one day at a time. And then like something that my mom always says to me that I think I would be remiss if I didn't mention, there's bloom where you're planted. She says that all the time. You know, she's like, bloom where you're planted. And it's become this little quote of hers that I love. So
Wait, I love that.
um,
What does that mean to you?
yeah. Yeah,
Bloom where
I
you're
think it just
planted.
means that like you have to make the most of the situation that you're in. There's always a place where you can find your spot in the sun. You don't, you know, just like to make the most of it and don't wish you were somewhere else or doing something different. Just,
I
you
am
know, do it
obsessed
there.
with that. That would be great. That would be great merch for you, Bloomer.
Yeah,
I'd
we
buy the shit out of that
should.
T-shirt.
Let's do that. Let's do our next
Thank you
round.
so much for being a guest on
Thank
Funhouse Radio. We
you.
are huge fans of yours. We cannot wait to watch Where You Bloom. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Such a pleasure.